Of all the many groove boxes that I've used and reviewed over the years, few really managed to embody the carefree, balls-to-the-wall fun and freedom of the groovebox concept, as well as the Synthstrom Deluge. Even though this thing came out more than 5 years ago, it's only now in 2023 where I feel that it's truly shaping up to possibly become one of the most powerful and versatile music boxes ever made. And it's all thanks to 2 paradigm-shifting upgrades that happened just in the past year or so. Allow me to explain. The first major upgrade in the Deluge is a simple but crucial one: the screen. Every time I reviewed or talked about the Deluge, my criticism always circled back to that numeric screen. All of the Deluge's massive power and potential seem to be trapped and confined behind that 1980s calculator screen that, beyond any retro appeal that it might have, would just annoy me to no end with its cryptic abbreviations and baffling menu navigation. It made the Deluge seem inaccessible at worst and disjointed at best. I even said this in quite a few videos. If we ever see an upgraded hardware version of the Deluge, like a Deluge 2.0, I think that one of the first things that we're going to see is a much better screen, because that would just make it the perfect machine. Well, lo and behold, last year Synthstrom announced the coming of a new OLED screen Deluge, and in an absolute mega Chad move, instead of marketing it as a Deluge 2.0 for twice the price, they instead offered to retrofit old units with the new tech. And for that, I raise my glass to Synthstrom. You truly are one of a kind. Anyway, I've had the new OLED Deluge for some time now, and I'm very happy to report that it was absolutely worth the wait. The screen is crisp and bright, the information on it makes menu diving a breeze, and I can finally understand where the hell I am now, as well as actually being able to decipher the names of my samples and sample folders.
I gotta have more cowbell!
It also flashes important information like what note you're playing and how many times you press the undo button. It still has some room for improvement, of course, and there are a few things that I wish were available at the time of this video. For example, it would be great to be able to see waveforms and go sample chopping directly on the OLED screen like you would on an SP404 MK2 instead of on the button grid as it currently stands. I've never really been a fan of the resolution you get on the physical buttons, and it seems like the OLED screen should be able to handle it. There's another thing that might be a bit of a nitpick, but in some situations, like when in song mode, the screen doesn't display any information at all, and it seems like it's just turned off. It's more of an aesthetics choice really, but I would love being able to toggle an always on option for it, because it sometimes feels like it just got bored of my jams and went ahead and fell asleep mid-performance. Those few nags aside though, the new screen makes the Deluge feel revitalized, like it's something that came out just now instead of 2016. And it's a good thing too, because some of the new features like the new master compressor on the community firmware make amazing use of the new screen to show you all the parameters at once, and I think it just wouldn't have worked as well on the old one. And all of that brings me nicely into the second game changer upgrade of the Deluge. In May of 2023, Synthstrom officially announced that the Deluge firmware was going open source. That meant that the community itself would be able to take part of the development of new features and functions in the Deluge, helping it evolve and grow alongside Synthstrom itself. So after setting up a Discord community and a Patreon page to support the new developers, the team got to work. And just a few weeks ago, the first open beta community firmware was released. Let me tell you, it's a pretty sweet time to be a Deluge owner right about now. If I were to go over all the new features, this would make for a very long video, so I'm just gonna go for my favorite ones here so you can get a taste of what's new and what's coming. New grid layout. It used to be that when in song mode, your clips were organized in rows that took up the whole line, and you could color code them to launch simultaneously in groups. Though this worked, it was fairly easy to fill up the rows quite quickly, and this could make a busy set become pretty hard to visually navigate. The new grid mode effectively turns your Deluge into an Ableton-style clip launcher, where you can either select individual clips or entire rows at the same time. In this mode, you can either be in green state, which will allow you to trigger or mute clips, or blue mode, where you can copy and paste clips as well as go into them to make alterations to the sequences. This truly makes the Deluge an Ableton in a box, so to speak. It just makes way more sense to me as a songwriting tool, and for live performance purposes, it's a dream come true because it makes your set way more manageable. It's no secret that one of my favorite DAWless platforms is the MPC, and one of my absolute favorite things to do on it is the so-called lazy chop, where you can easily create slices on your samples by just tapping on the pads as the sample plays in real time. It's easy, fast, and fun. This great way of slicing is now available on the Deluge as seen here. After creating a new kit and loading up a sample, you can just change the slice mode and get at it. Later on, you can fine-tune the start and end points of each one of those slices, just as you would on the MPC. Granular effects. Perhaps one of the most popular sound design techniques and effects in recent years has been granular synthesis and granular effects. If you don't believe me, just go look at the amount of hologram microcosm videos there are on YouTube right now. The Deluge now has a granular effect that can make a simple melody into a beautiful soundscape. The effect itself is very processor hungry though, so if you want multiple instances of this without glitching out, you might want to consider resampling the track and playing the result as a sample. "16 levels of velocity." Once again, one of my favorite things on the MPC is the ability to apply 16 levels of velocity on any sample. I think it comes especially useful on the Deluge since the pads themselves aren't velocity sensitive. Now you can add a much more humanized feel to your samples and also use old school tricks like a fake fade out. I really hope the community expands this idea further though to allow for 16 levels of tuning as well. Now this is just the tip of the iceberg and there's tons more to explore here, like master compressor, new stereo chorus effects, new state variable filters, just to name a few. And if I sound overly optimistic and excited for all of this, it's because I am. I know a reviewer is meant to be level-headed and keep us cool and all, but I really am eager to see what comes next. And since Synthstrom isn't paying me anything to make this video and I have no affiliate links with them, I have no problem sounding like a commercial right now. I'll most definitely be making updates to this video to keep you informed about the new features the community developers come up with along the way, but I just wanted to give a shout out not only to Synthstrom itself, but to the amazing community that has gathered around this unique instrument and the company behind it. It really is proof that when a company believes in a core concept, has a passion and conviction for it, and actually listens to its user base, great things can happen. And I have to say, it is refreshing to see a company whose main concern seems to not just be pushing out as much disposable gear as they possibly can, as quickly as they can, in a never-ending effort to take as much money from you as possible, but that actually seems invested in making something that will stand the test of time, something worth having and learning, and we sure could use a lot more of that. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this video useful, or at least entertaining. Have a great week. See you next time.